G'day there guys, Marky here, and welcome back to another episode of r/Am I the Asshole? With that said, I want you to sit back, relax, chuck a prawn to the barbie, and let's get right into it. Am I the asshole for refusing to make my house wheelchair accessible? My 22 female cousin, 24 male, is getting married next weekend. He proposed to his girlfriend, 25 female, on Wednesday and wants to get married by the next Saturday. They want to hold the ceremony at our grandparents' house, which I have the legal inheritance of. I have no objections to them wanting to get married there or anything. Also, there is no reason to technically rush the wedding, but they say they're in a very happy place and want to be married ASAP. Well, whatever rows their boat. They want to hold the ceremony in the backyard, and there is this platform of sorts where they want the wedding party to sit at the reception. The thing is, one of their bridesmaids, 24 or 25 female, is a wheelchair user, and so they want to add a ramp to the platform. Now, the conflict is, they asked me to get a ramp there. I've talked to the contractor who has done most of the furniture and stuff in that house, and he says he can only get to it next month. He's busy with some personal affairs. I told my cousin this, and he and his fiancée are very mad at me when I refuse to hire a different contractor or get quick work done. I have offered to attach a temporary ramp, the detachable kind which I could rent from a nearby shop, instead. The bridesmaid is refusing this, saying she deserves a better, accommodative, and acceptive facility. The thing to be noted is, the cousin doesn't want to pay for ramp construction since it's not his house, and he doesn't even want to pay any percentage of rent for ramp. Also, the rest of the house is wheelchair accessible since my grandma needed it, including washrooms. It's only this platform for some reason has no ramp, but only stairs. I don't want any sloppy or expensive ramp done in a rush because I don't have that kind of money saved or want to compromise the quality. The bride texted me saying that she and my cousin have always walked on eggshells around me to make accommodations for my handicap and feelings. This is the least I can do for them. For reference, my handicap is my autism. It has never occurred to me that it's a handicap or issue for people, at least family, to be around me. When I talked to my parents about this, they were very angry at her and have refused to attend a wedding where their kid is disrespected. When my aunt, the groom's mom, found out about this whole thing, she was red angry and said she might not attend the wedding too. Now the bride is calling me an ableist and an instigator. Am I the asshole? Edit, wheelchair user instead of wheelchair bound. Sorry, wasn't aware of the negative connotation. Edit 2, mostly everyone saying I shouldn't let them host the wedding there seems unfair, since it was his grandparents' home too, but yes, I may not attend the wedding. It's disrespectful, I see. OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the asshole. I might be the asshole for understanding what they have sacrificed all their life to be around me, so this was my chance to help them, and I refuse to accommodate. In the comments, not the asshole. You offered a perfect solution in the rental ramp, and they are being controlling, ungrateful, and ridiculous. It is also really gross for them to reference your neurodivergence as some sort of weight to hold over your head. Please stand your ground, OP. You are already being very generous and have given them your workaround with the rental ramp. It is up to them to accept it or not. Also, there must be public parks locally that already are accessible, so they could have their outdoor wedding in a park and the reception in your backyard where access to the platform wouldn't be an issue. That is, if you want to continue to host your cousin. I don't know if I would bend over backwards for someone being so rude and so mean. Not the asshole. Your home is not public domain. If she wants everything to be handicapped accessible, then she needs to rent a hall that is suitable for all. Tell them to find somewhere else to get married at and leave you alone. Not the asshole. Your house is not a wedding venue, it is your home. Any and all expenses for them using or modifying should first be approved by you and paid for by them. It's enough of a favor to let them use your home. Do you realize the time and effort that's going to be on you to have a whole bunch of people in and out of your home, using your bathrooms, kitchen, etc.? The cleaning before and after, the paper supplies, sewage and water usage, and more. Yeah, You are not the one who should be bending backwards for this event. In fact, you wouldn't be to blame if you changed your mind because of their ridiculous demands and expectations. Way too much. OP replies, wait, so when they ask for the venue, they won't be cleaning after the event themselves? Isn't that the protocol to clean after yourself? By yourself, I mean hiring cleaning staff or something. Yes, people using bathroom, kitchen, and house in general I know and understand will happen, but after cleaning is what I thought is normal. It would be reasonable to expect that they'd be clean, as that's a pretty normal expectation. But they aren't behaving normally about the installation of the new infrastructure on their behalf, so there is no reason to expect they'd behave normally, re-cleaning either. And now, on to the update. Thank you everyone for all the comments and explanations. It really helped me understand the entirety of the situation. Well, after reading all the comments, the general consensus was to not let them use my house for the wedding, and when I asked my parents about this, they wholeheartedly agreed. Well, it so happened that we were at said house, we being me, my parents, and my aunt, the groom's mum, when I texted my cousin saying, I'm sorry, but I'm not comfortable with you hosting the wedding or reception in my house. And he simply texted back, okay. That's when my aunt called him up and started yelling how he was raised better and he being disrespectful to his sister wasn't what she ever expected. She said she won't attend the wedding, and when undoubtedly the marriage will fail, he'll come back to his senses and his family. To say that he was shell-shocked would be an understatement. He immediately came over to meet us all, and when I told him about the handicap text from his bride-to-be, he was taken aback. He apologized profusely. He literally said that he's begging for forgiveness. Yes, he was irrational for the ramp demand, but the bridesmaid was emotionally manipulating him and blackmailing him a lot. He called off the wedding and has gone no contact with fiancé. She saw the original post on Reddit and texted me calling me a tattletale dimwit. So, F you, Carol. Also, as it turns out, they were rushing the wedding because she didn't want to sign a prenup. Dodged a bullet there, it seems. Yes, she said this part herself while yelling in rage. So no wedding, but my aunt is hosting dinner the night of the wedding and making my favorite dishes. Once again, thank you, everyone. In the comments, why would aunt tell cousin she's being disrespectful to his sister when you are not his sister? How is the bridesmaid manipulating and blackmailing him? What was she threatening to do? OP replies, aunt said to the groom, aka my cousin, he is being disrespectful to his sister, as in the cousin's sister, as in me. The bridesmaid was playing a lot of sick mind games, the basic bitch move being she won't attend the wedding, won't let her best friend marry into inconsiderate family, to the extreme being that she'll get him fired under unfairness and discrimination case at their workplace. They work in the same company and he is her boss, technically. If she wanted to rush the wedding to avoid a prenup, possibly so she could have more assets if and when the marriage failed, a ramp is a really stupid hurdle to let yourself fall over. Yeah, I mean she's clearly not the brightest tool in the box of crayons or whatever the expression is, considering that she revealed her plans in an angry rant like a damn supervillain talking to Spider-Man. But if I wanted a mad dash for money, I'd make an excuse to go to the courthouse with the idea of a ceremony happening later. Probably could even tell the cousin to keep it quiet, that they went to the courthouse and nobody would be the wiser. I'm just glad that it was such a quick resolution and that at least the whole family was rational, which seems like a rare exception on this subreddit sometimes. I'll still never understand the entitlement of most of the people in these stories though. The cousin definitely dodged a bullet with his bride. Sadly, he's still the idiot who fell for this in the first place. Sometime down the road, he will get hit by the truck that's coming for him. That can be fixed though. He's still young and perhaps had never seen what red flags in a relationship are. Now he knows what to look out for. Our next post is titled, Am I the asshole for refusing to be a bridesmaid because I don't want to wear a dress for my brother's wedding? My 33 female, brother 30 male, and his fiancée 28 female are getting married in a week. My brother decided this last week. I am happy. I think his fiancée is great. I spoke to her about the wedding and she told me that it was going to be small. They weren't going to do dinner after. I understood wanting it small because she's pregnant and COVID, but then my mum took over. She started inviting people and planning a reception, and my brother went along with it. His fiancée was upset and stressed, but she didn't want to argue. So yesterday, my mum calls me at work while my brother is on the phone, saying they want me to be a bridesmaid. I said sure, as long as I don't have to wear a dress. My brother says that I have to wear a dress. Work is busy and I can't focus, so I tell them that I'll call them back later. That morning, I text my future sister-in-law and tell her that I'm happy for them, but I would rather not be a bridesmaid, because I have spent a long time trying to be comfortable in my skin and who I am and what I like to wear. I decided to come but not be in the wedding, and I hope she's not mad. She texts me back and says no, she's not mad, and that I shouldn't have even thought she was. Around the same time, my brother calls me and tells me that he really wants me to be a bridesmaid. It's only 45 minutes and I can go change after. I told him that I talked to his fiancée and that she said that she was okay and wasn't mad. He then gets upset and says that he's going to talk to her and tells her not to interfere with his wedding. A few minutes later, she calls to say that she doesn't want to plan because stress wasn't good for the baby. Then my brother calls me, and I tell them that it's her wedding too, and that he brings my wife, 23 female, into the situation, saying that she is making decisions for me, and she doesn't need to be at the wedding if she can't be respectful. I tell him he's wrong, and she has nothing to do with my decision. He keeps bringing her up. Finally, she gets upset and yells through the phone, "Fine, she won't come." My brother keeps arguing and saying that I'm the only sibling he has left, so I've got to do this, because he asked my mum if I would. Our other sibling passed away the middle of last year. I said that if I have to wear a dress, then no. So then he tells my mum, and my mum calls me talking about how I'm selfish and a disappointment. She calls again, and so I ignore the call. She then sends a text in the family chat saying that I'm an evil person, and effective immediately, my aunts, cousins, niece and nephew, and my grandma have to block me, because instead of being a good daughter, I am defending trash, referring to my wife, against the family, and I am no longer a part of the family. My brother then sends texts talking about how it's my wife's fault that he feels like he's lost another sibling, and all I had to do was wear a dress for the wedding ceremony and pictures, and then I could dress how I want at the reception. My mom said that I'm not allowed to speak to any of my family. Am I the asshole for refusing to wear a dress for my brother's wedding? Edit to add, info, I don't wear female clothes, and my family has always had an issue with the way that I dressed. Things like this have happened before. I've worn what they wanted, being assured that I could change into what makes me more comfortable, only to be pressured and guilted into not changing or ruining the rest of the pictures. I offered compromises. I offered to wear a matching suit color to match. Initially, it was only supposed to be my sister-in-law's sister standing behind her, but my mum got involved. In the comments, not the asshole, but I suggest checking in on your sister-in-law who is being steamrolled and ignored regarding her own wedding. Are your brother and mother controlling her in other ways? OP responds, a bit, yes. After my sister-in-law and brother had been dating for a few years, my mum told her that if she didn't become a nurse, she would break up their relationship. My first nursing job, I went and hung out and stayed out a few days. Just so happened to be around the time that I was done with orientation and on the floor by myself for the first time. My mum was mad, and I was told that I took away her chance to see me work on the floor. I have constantly been told that my accomplishments are not my own, but my mother's. They've harassed my wife about going to nursing school, saying that if she doesn't become a nurse, then she can't be with me. I literally had to tell them that I would not break up with her just because she doesn't become a nurse. My whole family are medical professionals, mum's a doctor, aunt's a doctor, and everyone else is either a nurse or a doctor. My mother also likes to tell me that she knows what types of guys I like, and that I only date women because I have low self-esteem. She also got mad because my sister-in-law paid for her mum and sister to fly up for the wedding. I'm amazed that you still spend time around your terrible mother. I would skip the wedding just to avoid your asshole mother and her male mini-me. Have you ever considered disowning your mother? I think you can do better than her crappy parenting, just saying. I would be very tempted to tell your mom that your wife is a very sexy nurse on Halloween and start dropping lesbian sex jokes into the conversation, Lamau. Your mom is blaming your sexuality on your wife, and so owning the hell out of your own sexuality would be appropriate retaliation. For example, can't date a man, ma. I love the taste of pussy too much. Winky face. Mom, if I wasn't with my wife, I'd be hitting on lots of women at work and embarrassing the hell out of you. Do you want me to be a thirsty lesbian or a sated one? Mom, if you want me to leave my wife, then you have to hook me up with your sexy female coworker. Her chesticles are glorious. My question is, why are grown adults allowing other adults to bully them? You and your sister-in-law should be going no contact and protecting that poor baby from your brother and mother at all costs. OP replies, well, my brother and I are first-gen Americans. Our culture is heavy on the respect your parents. It's a running joke between me and a few cousins that our parents still treat us like children even after we have children of our own. So like the idea of us questioning our mother or saying no is a difficult one to wrap our heads around. Oh my, I feel so very sorry for your future sister-in-law if she's marrying into this. Not the asshole, because you shouldn't wear anything you're uncomfortable with, and a loving and healthy family dynamic wouldn't cast you out of their family just because of a dress. But why do they think that this is your wife's fault? OP replies, because they think she's a garbage human being who controls me. They are not very good at listening to anything that I say. My mom still thinks that my wife is lying about being Hispanic, even though she's not. She's half black and half white. We clarified that for my mom, and my mom told me that I wasn't allowed to tell her she was wrong because she's the mother and I'm the child. I am allowed to say I disagree, even though she's wrong. OP, take this chance and run. That sounds insane. But do reach out to your extended family and explain what happened. They might not be such assholes. Not the asshole for sure. And now, on to the update. I can't figure out how to get my update approved, so I'll post it here. So after my mum said that I was banned from the family, I thought a lot about whether or not to attend the wedding. I had only just blocked my mother and brother when my aunt called the day before the wedding. I answered without thinking. She started by asking me what was going on, and then she told me that I was being selfish and childish, and that I had to think about my brother's feelings, and I've worn a dress before, so I shouldn't be acting like it was a big deal. I said, okay, well, they asked, and I said no. My aunt then informed me that it didn't matter what he wanted, I should have said yes. And so I hung up. My stomach was in knots for days because I wanted to see my brother get married, but I didn't think that I'd be welcome. Sister-in-law called and asked if I were coming. I said probably not because I didn't want to ruin their day. She said she wanted me there, and my brother did too. I said that I had picked up a shift at work, and I'd come to the reception to congratulate them. My brother then called me via Facebook, upset that his number was blocked, and started talking about how my trashy wife is dividing me from the family, and that my mum never banned me from the family. This devolved into an argument. I hung up. My mum then calls my job asking to speak to me. I didn't know that it was her. My coworker answered and said someone was on the phone for me. I pick up and it's my mum, so I hang up. I walk away to compose myself. Sister-in-law's mom calls me and tells me that sister-in-law wants me there and that if I want to be there, then F everybody else. My emotions are everywhere. I leave work. At the same time, my coworker tells me that my mother called back and said a whole bunch of stuff. Those are the words that my coworker used, and then tried to get my boss's number and get me fired. Thanks to a bunch of the commenters who pointed out my mum might be a narcissist. I looked into different resources about signs of narcissists and being raised by them. I've since discovered that my mum might be one. Anyways, I went to the wedding. My mum and aunt acted as if everything was normal. They seemed under the impression that they had bullied me into doing what they wanted. On the drive to the wedding, my sister-in-law called me to say that she was happy that I was coming and sorry that everything was so messed up. Her mum came up to me and said, "Screw my family, she's happy I came." Ultimately, I took this as a farewell. I've decided to go no contact with my family. I feel complicated about it and it hurts a bit, but I think it's best. In the comments, why the hell did that wedding even happen? The groom is saying it's his wedding and it doesn't matter what the bride wants, and she's pregnant? Sheesh. She's going to regret getting involved with that guy. Yeah, sister-in-law and sister-in-law's mum seem like decent people. They are in for a very rough time. I feel like OP was really glossing over the wife comments her mum was throwing out. I'm sure she's lived through so many rude and abrasive comments that she's blowing it off, but to continually blame her wife for a choice that sounds like she's made numerous times is crazy. That poor sister-in-law sounds like she feels trapped, and I hope she's able to stand up for herself when it counts. It's not about the clothes. Under the surface, they don't want to accept that OP is gay, and in their minds, if it wasn't for OP's wife, then OP wouldn't be gay. Yes, it makes no sense, but that's literally what people like that think. My great-grandmother, who raised me, was the same. I'm the same as OP, I hate female clothes and always have. My grandma fought me hard on my clothing choice because she knew what it really meant, that I was gay. She blamed that on my best friend. In her mind, it was my friend's fault that I was gay, so she did her damnedest to keep us apart. Long story short, 15 years later, we are still best friends, I'm still gay, and it never had anything to do with my friend, no matter how much my grandma wanted that to be the case. Just straight up homophobia. Trash family. Yeah, 100%. The way they instantly blame OP's wife for no reason, and their pathetic attempts to make OP wear a dress and conform to their traditional values. The audacity to ask her to adapt to them being homophobic is incredible. Also, they didn't even involve the soon-to-be wife in the planning, so they are also sexist. What a surprise. The mental gymnastics with these is always interesting. It's only a dress, just wear it. It's not a big deal. Well, exactly, it's only a dress. It's not a big deal that I don't want to wear it. Cue screaming and yelling and blaming someone who barely factors into the situation. Just admit that you don't think that OP is queer and save everyone the aggravation. And that's where I'm going to end today's episode, guys. I do hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.